Welcome to the UFFS Podcast with Darren Bates and Larry Fisher. Shining a spotlight on the most realistic fantasy sports platform ever. If it happens in Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports, you'll find out here. UFFS, you own the game.
Own the game, as Dean Millard would say. Welcome to the official UFFS podcast number 23, proudly broadcast, of course, on the UFSN network, along with other great shows such as Tracking the Draft, UFHL Now, and the new Full Count Fantasy Baseball. And next month, we'll have the inaugural UFFS roundtable featuring 4 UFFS GMs, 3 topics, 10 minutes each. Should be some great entertainment, Larry. Looking forward to that one. We're just in the planning stages. I've already got a list developed of guys that are interested in going on, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who the guests will be for the inaugural or the debut episode of the UFFS Roundtable, and certainly the topics will be right in the heart of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and not only hockey. I mean, they're going to be life topics. They're going to be all sorts of topics you'll be throwing at this panel, so it's going to be a great debate, great discussion. I can't wait to see that one. And obviously, like I said, Jordan Blundell joining Dean Millard on Full Count Fantasy Baseball. They're 2 episodes in, and they got a great chemistry, great banter going back and forth. If you don't know baseball, you can learn by watching Full Count Fantasy Baseball, that's for sure. And the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network is growing by the day, by the month, and exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I think we're going to have different personalities, I hope, or different thoughts, different opinions, maybe some scraps. And speaking of scraps, I'm kind of in the punching mood. Today's show, introduction to the Punch Boxing League. Going to speak to owner and promoter and 2 of the Punch's biggest fighters. If technology allows, we're going all the way around the world on that one. We're going to brag up our simple, easy peasy contests in the UFFS ecosystem. And last but not least, exciting times ahead. Larry Fisher, also known as the pro, me known as the rookie, only because I have no sniff on what I'm picking in the UFFS playoff pool. That's back for its second year. So we're going to be doing our picks, and we have some merch up for grabs this time, Fish.
I'm looking forward to it, Darren. I haven't looked at your picks yet, so there'll be a surprise to me today. So looking forward to seeing who you took, obviously, and certainly the fact that there'll be some merch available for the other contestants who obviously either beat me or finish behind you with the pro versus rookie theme. And it's a lot of fun. And going back to last year, I know you were leading after the first round, but again, with the points escalating, I was able to pull ahead in the end, and the pro came out on top. But I'm not feeling overly confident about my picks this year, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And you mentioned it, Darren, the Punch Boxing. Boxing is big in India. We like to say billions and billions is another one of our go-to sayings in the UFFS world. And there are billions of people in India. So I don't think people on this side of the pond realize how big the Punch Boxing is and the potential with that partnership between UFFS and the Punch Boxing. Just seeing, the endorsements from guys like Randy Couture and Kurt Angle and Hector Macho Camacho Jr. And, Arif Khan's a guy who's definitely got a name for himself in the sporting world, certainly in India, and he's trying to go worldwide with Punch Boxing. So that's going to be awesome. And as for the UFFS contests, I mean, you name the sport, we pretty much have a contest going. Obviously, the UFBA did the cool airdrop with Elon's, the partnership there. You got the UFGA weekly golf contest. Those have been running for a couple months now, but get in there, win some Zil by picking the 3 golfers that are going to finish with the combined lowest score of each PGA event. You got UFLBs coming out with some contests, including picking sort of the one category per week, the RBIs this week, who's going to have the most RBIs. So if you like baseball, get in on the UFLB. And then even we haven't launched UFFS soccer yet, Darren, but we have a Euro 2021 fantasy draft or pool coming up as well. So as well as this UFHL NHL playoff pool. So almost every sport has a contest up and running, and it adds to the whole entertainment value of the UFFS ecosystem.
Well, you know what best, you're involved in almost everything we do, and I think Dean Millard's going to come on a little later on, when we do the extra segment of this program, and he's going to share with us the ins and outs of this exciting new contest in the UFLB. So coming up next, Managing Director of Sports Oodles and founder of Punch Boxing, Arif Khan, right after this.
Time for a quick lineup change, but Baits and Fish will be back right away with today's guest.
Hello, and welcome to this segment of the UFFS Podcast. Really pleased to have joined me here Arif Khan, Managing Director of Sports Oodles Limited and founder of the Punch Boxing Championship. How are you doing, Arif?
Thank you so much to have me on this show, and it was a pleasure to be here with you. I'm doing good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. Hey, first of all, let's begin at the top, shall we? Sports Oodles. Not only, I checked out Sports Oodles, all over the internet. Not only boxing within Sports Oodles. Tell me a little bit about Sports Oodles as a whole.
So Sports Oodles is a sports marketing firm in India, and we are involved in two sports. One is the punch boxing, and second is the AIPS Cricket League. So AIPS Cricket League is a yearly public tournament of Indian government companies like Airport Authority of India, Reserve Bank of India, ONGC, BSNL, MTNL. So these are government PSUs, public sector companies. So we have around like 16 companies with us to play for AIPS Cricket League, and in which we have ex-Indian players, upcoming Indian players, all IPL players, Indian IPL players. They all are participating in these company and domestic players as well. So content is really good. We have good players in Pound. And second, we run the Punch Boxing League. The Punch Boxing is a professional boxing series in India. Till now, we have done around 6 shows across India. Delhi, Goa, Mumbai, Dehradun, Jaipur, and recently we did in Greater Noida. And we are coming again with a new boxing night, the Punch Boxing, and hopefully in August. And Sports Oodles coming up with more sports league. Like we are planning a league in badminton, we are planning league in table tennis. So we are already working on it.
That's very interesting stuff. We all know, I think that most people would know, even in the Western Hemisphere, that cricket is very, very big in India. Boxing, I'm learning, is becoming a big thing. And obviously UFFS searching the globe for great partnerships, whether it be in NFTs, fantasy league, and, our search across the world has brought us into, working on a partnership with the Punch Boxing. So I know the sport is growing in India. I've done my research on that. But for you personally, why did you get into the boxing side of things?
I was into cricket before. I was involved with the cricket league in India, and somehow I ended up with meeting boxing federation guys, and I had my first experience with the state boxing association. I went to saw a state boxing championship, and at that time it was like wow, and that was amateur boxing, but that excites me a lot. Okay, wow, this is something that can, if we can bring professional boxing to India, that can be a completely game changer. So in 2017, I did my first professional boxing show in India, and that was a complete game changer. Like you got all the freedom to promote how much you want to promote your sports and everything. And professional boxing already a number one sports in the world. So, and being it's like India is a global audience. India have a huge audience, huge population, and that's what bring the market, uh, to place. And like there's lots of cricket is happening in India, but now people want something non-cricket sports, new excitement. So I think boxing is like very compact game, shorter game, and it can be a game changer for the audience of India. So that's why we started with the professional boxing. So then we launched the punch boxing, and it's doing quite well in India currently. Lots of boxers are approaching, want to be a part of the punch boxing. Just recently got global broadcaster from USA. We got NBC, and we got other network as well. Fight TV is already there, and Indian TV channel is already there. The punch boxing growing day by day. Like in every show, we do something more bigger.
So your last live event, we were speaking off camera of the viewership that took part. You talk about the TV stations in India, a few other countries, and then of course from the US as well, covering that event. How many viewers? What's your viewership of that event approximately?
Currently it's growing. Like if we talk about live viewership, it will like around 100,000. But if we talk about the promotion of the fight, it's cross including social media, outdoor media, print media, and everything. So our reach was like more than 100 million. But live viewership was around 100,000. And for the next show, we are expecting more. Like our live viewership, we are expecting millions now, because got global broadcaster, and we are also planning an Asian title for one of our boxers, Saga Narwat. So the audience will be growing every day, and now people are following their favorite boxing stars, their favorite boxers from India. So we have audience with our boxers. The punch boxing have their audience. The broadcasters have their audience, and the promotional activities, everybody have their own audience. So it's growing now.
Absolutely, yeah, in this day and age, TV viewership is not necessarily always, a metric that you go after because it's part of it. But social media is massive. So you say, over 100 million viewers. Social media and TV together. That's a huge audience. Now I think about the population of India, about 1.2 billion. We all know that cricket's a big sport there. We talked about that, but boxing. Would you say that boxing is catching cricket, or is it? Would you say it's the second most popular sport now in India?
Yeah, you can say second most popular sports in India, and it will take time to catch cricket. Well, cricket is quite huge in India, quite huge, and but boxing is taking a lead, and it will take some time. But yeah, like my one of my main fighter, Sagan was, he's already having a social media like Facebook reach of 100 million, like engagement, social media engagement of 100 million. And that's how, like, if fighters are growing their social media like that in India, that means they're having a huge following now, and people want to get a news, like want to have a live action of boxing. So I had a in my past I had an experience, like people wants to come into to watch a fight night, to watch the punch boxing. But due to COVID thing, we have to keep restrictions in the entry. But slowly it will bring on. Like we did a show in a five-star hotel, and that happens for the first time in India. So it's growing quite. And I think social media is a game changer, because internet breaks all the barriers with the broadcasting and making it popular. So more than TV channels, we believe in social media now, because we can connect towards like whole world, and we got audience globally now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fathom I guess the fan support and the viewers and that you can bring into the punch boxing with professional boxing in India. 1.2 billion, you think of 10% of the population. Even if you can grow it to even 25% of the population, that would encompass more than the population of the entire United States of America. So that's pretty big stuff, Arif. I'm pretty excited for the future of punch boxing. But let me ask you, um, you're I would say that professional boxing, it sounds like it's fairly new in India. What would be the tools necessary for boxing to become a serious sport outside of fans, of course, that you would need to take it to the next level?
Yeah, so like boxing is already doing quite well, and we want to bring these Olympian fighters and Commonwealth medalists to professional boxing because they already have a huge fan following in their district, in their cities. So once these fighters, and we want to bring international fighters to India, good fighters to India who are already like Olympic medalists or rank number one fighter, US rank number one, UK rank number one. We want to bring them in India. I think that will excite Indian audience a lot, and like having world championship over here. Like I'm very impressed with the Saudi Arabia because they are hosting the biggest fight now. So that's what we are also planning to host the biggest fight in India itself. That will be a completely game changer. That's what we need actually. We need a good fighters from amateur boxing who have already won gold medal and other medal Asian title in Asian championship, in Commonwealth championship, in Olympic championship. Olympics. So we need these fighters to come inside professional boxing ring in India from India. So I think that will excite a lot of fans to engage with their favorite fighters.
Yeah, and I think India should have fairly well known fighters outside of India. I look up Mary Kom and Vahinder Singh, both Olympic medalists in the sport of boxing, to have represented India, I believe. So it's nothing necessarily new, but I have to imagine that a lot of amateurs would now be looking toward the punch boxing to move into the professional arena. But let me ask you about moving outside of India. You already talked about you've had international fights. I've seen countries such as Cameroon, Armenia, Holland, Thailand. You're obviously looking at expansion beyond the borders of India.
Yes, of course, definitely. Like that's the plan. Like we want to organize the punch boxing UK, the punch boxing USA, the punch boxing Europe, the punch boxing, like different part of the world. We want to create a title. Like we want to create our own title, the punch boxing title belt value. Currently, we are engaging we are seeing on the broadcasting thing, and then we'll be going outside India to showcase the punch boxing. What we believe is entertainment and complete sports. So we are mixing all these complete entertainment and sports. We want to bring best fighters under the punch boxing title fights, and we want to host the punch boxing in a different. We are already working on it. Hopefully, into 2021, you'll see the punch boxing the way happening. Maybe around in November. So we are already working on it, and we are already working on for the UK thing and the USA thing. So hopefully we'll give it a shape. Hopefully in next few shows.
It sounds exciting to me, Arif. I watched a few fights on YouTube already. I watched some of the women fighters, and obviously along with the men fighters. And I am a fan already. I don't know. I find it very raw. They're throwing punches. There's no real waiting. They're just in there to fight, and the passion seems insane. I don't know if I can draw comparisons to what I'm used to seeing, here in the Western Hemisphere, which I would say is more US and Canada. But it seems very raw. Like they really mean business when they get in the ring. Would you say that it's similar to what the USA, professional boxing has, or does it have a little bit of a different style to it, would you say?
Yeah, professional boxing definitely. Yeah, why not? Like these fighters are really hungry fighters because this is the first time they are getting so much glamour. Like okay, they are getting into Olympics. That's a different thing. But yeah, for the professional boxing, they're getting so much glamour. They are really hungry for the fame and everything. They put their all what they have inside the ring. I have seen young fighters, they are giving it all. Like they're fighting. Like for example, Gill is just 18-year-old and he's already a rank number one professional boxers in India in his weight category. Sagar Narwat is also rank number one welterweight fighter boxer in India. So these young fighters, they are working every so long and giving their best shot. So yes, professional boxing is already having an edge in India.
So if I'm, as I said, I'm already a fan of the punch boxing, what I've seen. If I was to attend, a punch boxing event live in person, or, potentially, especially with the COVID restrictions, most likely on a YouTube or a pay-per-view event, what would I expect to see?
Every time you're gonna see a new action and completely a fight night. Every time we are growing our bars. Every time we are putting a more tough competitions in front of our fighters. We are not making it easy for them. Every time there is a new challenger with them. So what do you expect? You expect a very, very, very dominating fight night with real action and complete entertainment. That's the main idea behind that. And winning for a title shots in the next fight, and after that also maybe in every fight night we'll be planning a good Asian title or a world title. We are planning for that, and we'll be bringing fighters all around the globe to fight in the punch boxing in India currently and maybe outside. So it's always will be country versus country, and action packed will be always like more lethal and more dangerous from now on. That's what's the plan.
Man, I tell you, I am excited. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this thing, absolutely. And I'm reading a quote, and this is one of your quotes. You want to make India the biggest name in boxing globally, and to become a household name in the world of boxing. I personally do see this happening, and I've read a few quotes. I think it's from the website, and one of them is "Keep calm or stay away from a boxer." And I think those are very prophetic words, and I think I could probably live a lot longer if I lived by those words. So I wish you all the success in the world. I think you guys have a great thing going here, and I'm very excited to speak with a couple of your top boxers from the Punch Boxing coming up here in just a little bit. So thank you very, very much for joining me today on the UFFS podcast, and I very much look forward to our partnerships here in the future.
So much, Darren. Thank you so much. Lovely meeting you, and hopefully we'll going long term together. And hope to see you in the punch boxing fight night in India.
Absolutely, I can't wait. I'm hoping for my front row seats right in front of the ring.
Definitely.
Thank you very much again.
Definitely. Cheers.
And
Cheers. Thanks.
We'll talk to the top two, a couple of the top boxers here in the Punch Boxing League right after this.
Time for a quick lineup change, but Bates and Fish, they'll be back right away with today's guest.
Well, here we are back, and very, very excited to have on the UFFS podcast two of the top fighters representing the Punch Boxing in India. We have Sagar Narwat. I hope I say that correctly, and I apologize if I'm not. And we also have Harsh Gill. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Morning where you are, night where I am.
Good morning, sir.
How are you both?
Good morning,
Great
sir.
to have you on the show. Great to have you on the show. Hey, I want to talk to you initially, Sagar. I'm interested to know in what inspired you to initially get into boxing. I know you were a kickboxer for a while, but what caused the transformation to go from kickboxing? Why boxing?
So actually, first of all, when I started kickboxing, I don't know about the games. When I saw one movie, the Apne, Indian Bollywood movie. Yeah. So it's boxing movie. Then I saw some punches and boxing. Uh, then I start boxing. Start kickboxing. After some time, I realized that kickboxing future in India is nothing. Then in 2012 I start boxing, and after I start boxing, uh, I face many problems, but no problem. All things are very good. But in 2017, uh, yeah, I play in Super Boxing League, um, and a very good fame, and everyone knows me who is Sagar in all over the India. And after that, you see who I am. All India rank 1, and all over the world my rank is 283. And very soon, I'm the first Indian who is a world champion in all over the world.
Yeah, you're a very well decorated fighter. I have read your bio. A lot of medals, gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals. So,
Yeah.
and I've watched your training videos. Your training regimen is intense. So, describe your day to day regimen as a professional fighter. You know, what do you do when you get up in the morning every day? What does your day look like?
Yeah, in every morning I wake up 4:30 and I start training my at 5 a.m. and 5 to 7:30 I train some small kids, and with some kids I train also individual. So this is my schedule, and in the evening same at the 5 p.m. I start training. So in every day in morning and evening I training, and in the daytime like 1 p.m. I go to the gym. So this is my schedule. So in whole day like uh, like 7 to 8 hours I do my workout and some strength training, because if I can challenge any world champion, challenge anything, so I train hard. So every day in a week I have at least 3 days. So every day I spare like 24 rounds for aspiring.
I've watched your videos. I know one thing for sure, that I'm going to stay out of your way if I ever meet you, because I've seen the punches you've thrown, and I don't want to be in the way of one of those punches. So Harsh, let me just talk to you here for a minute. So you're the youngest
Hello, sir.
professional boxer in India currently, ranked
Yes, sir.
number one in the country.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to you on
Thank you so much,
attaining
sir.
that feat. 9 times national champion, turned pro fairly
Yeah.
recently, I'm assuming. And, I did see that you were involved in the Punch 6 event. That seemed like a big event, from my view. How do you
Yes, sir.
prepare for these big fights? What do you do to prepare mentally, physically?
Yeah, sir. Mentally, physically, it's all about the experience of playing the boxing. I started boxing in 2013. So I prepare my mind before the training. I spend half an hour to prepare my mind what to do today, what's the schedule. So I prepare it at home.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
do you think? I wonder if every boxer has a secret move, and maybe it's something you can talk about, maybe it's something you can't. I'm not sure. But what do you think makes you great? A secret weapon, a speed, a certain punch. What's your secret?
It's all it's all about power, hard hitting punches. I love power training.
Okay. So the hardest punch, knock them down. And
Yes,
what
sir.
about certain boxing idols? I imagine every kid growing up has an idol they look up to. A certain boxer might not
Yeah.
even be a fighter; it just might be somebody else that you might look up to. That
It,
you always thought, I want to be like this person someday. Who would that be for you?
it's all about my coach.
And who's your coach?
He, Dr. Rajiv Godara. He is an Olympian, Jai Bhagwan Olympian. Yeah, he's an Olympic player, and
Okay.
Dr. Rajiv Godara is international boxer player and bronze medal in YMCA World Championship.
Got it. But Harsh,
Yes, sir.
what's next for you in your future? What are you looking forward to? Any big fights or anything you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, sir, I'm actually looking for the world title, youth world title of pro boxing, and after that, I'm planning the Olympic Games to qualify through professional boxing.
Nice. So the Olympic Games coming up in Tokyo, or the next Olympic Games?
The next Olympic Games.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that'll be quite a feat.
Yes, sir.
All the best of luck in
Thank you so much,
attaining
sir.
that goal. I think that's a very lofty goal. Now, so how has your experience been, Harsh, in the Punch Boxing League, turning pro?
Sir,
Um,
it was amazing experience over here. I started my professional career with the punch boxing.
Okay, and do you have a special fight in mind that still resonates with you? A fight that is one of your top fights that you've ever done since you turned professional? Which one would that be?
Yeah, in toughest fight, not now. Till I haven't got any tough boxer till now, but preparing for it and need some tough boxer to fight with him.
Nice. Well, all the best of luck to you both. I want to thank you guys so much for joining
Thank you
me on
so
the UFFS
much.
podcast. I am a
Thank
fan.
you
I
so
told
much, sir.
Arif already that I am a big fan of the punch boxing, and I'm going to be tuning in and watching a lot more of this on social media, or hopefully live in person when we're through the COVID restrictions with a front row seat sometime soon. Appreciate you guys. And coming up next, we're going to Larry and I are going to get into our picks on the UFFS, UFHL, NHL playoff pool. And we'll talk about this right after this break.
This is the UFFS Podcast, Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports, where you own the game.
Well, sometimes technology just gets us. I actually thought that maybe those two top fighters in the punch boxing were operating in Costa Rica with the Haunches Costa Rican internet. But when you're operating on the other side of the world, as we do, and off the cuff, you never really know what you're going to run into. And we're doing it without the budget of billion-dollar networks so far. Someday maybe we'll get there. But that was a lot of fun. Larry, that was actually the first interview I have ever done personally with a pro fighter. Never in my life. So popped my fighter interview cherry on that one, I guess you could say.
Right on. Yeah, I've had the privilege of covering a few UFC events live and interviewing guys like Chuck Liddell and some of those guys before and after fights. So they can be pretty intimidating dudes. But yeah, certainly those guys seem like good guys. And again, the punch boxing really on the rise. And those are some names to watch out for. There have been some big name fighters come out of India in the past. And I think we'll be seeing some of these punch boxing guys on TVs and on highlight reels in North America soon enough.
I watched some of these fights, and I mentioned this in the interview in the podcast on YouTube, and I'm a fan. It's raw. They just go out just throwing punches left and right and center, and it's exciting to watch. I'm actually going to be tuning in for sure now that I'm in the know, and I know when the fights are going to be. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be massive, as you said. And really looking forward to our partnership with these guys. So let's move on and talk now a little bit about, a couple of and I know we've talked about this, UFHL now, but it's exciting to talk about the franchise sales, a new record set, Showtime coming in, purchasing the Blizzard for, well over, $50,000 US. And of course, good for Alex LeBlanc, scooping up the Snipers and UHA been there since the beginning. Still looking to be a part owner, I guess, somewhere in the UFHL or UFAHL or maybe even another sport. Not sure, but it's just fantastic, Fish, to see the value of these franchises grow as we thought they always would.
Really, they've skyrocketed from a year ago, right, Darren? At this time last year, we were trying to find owners. Owners weren't coming to us. We were going and recruiting owners at the $200 USD price point. UHA actually got in back in January 2020 for the inaugural or initial UFHL draft at $100 USD. And here we are, just over a year later, and he's selling his franchise for $35,000 USD equivalent in score coin. As you mentioned, the record setter the week before with Showtime and David Aid, and as well as retaining Jessica Stuckey as his GM, but David Aid coming in, better known as Showtime, and really blowing everybody away with that $50,000 USD plus sale of purchase of the Blizzard. So to see where we were even a year ago at this time with the NHL shut down from COVID and trying to generate interest in fantasy hockey when the NHL was down, trying to find owners, franchise owners that everybody was saying, oh, I'm in my own league. How good could this league be? And I think just the excitement around the UFHL, once we did the redraft in July, it just sort of took off from there. And then obviously NFTs blew up. The the crypto world blew up in the back half of 2020, and obviously surging again into 2021, and now the owners are coming to us. There's a lineup of people who would love to get a franchise, but the bar is set pretty high for as far as price goes now that we're into the mid 5 figures at 50,000 USD.
Absolutely. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're just getting started, but I couldn't be happier for the new owners coming into the UFFS ecosystem, and for the old owners going out as well. Congratulations and well done on the return on investment. It's exciting times ahead, as we always say, and maybe your line is something that's catching on, billions and billions, as we say, fish. So, maybe taking it down a little notch or two. It's not billions and billions, but it's a few hundred ZIL up for grabs in some easy contests. I want to talk about the easy contests, the easy peasy contests that are running, on Telegram. We've got, first of all, I'm going to talk about the UFGA, PGA contests that have been running each and every week. I think we're on our 8th, correct me if I'm wrong, Fish, but I think our 8th contest already. And we've already given away, or soon to give away, I think after this last AT&T Byron Nelson contest, it'll be around $720 worth of ZIL. So, these things are so easy to enter. They cost nothing. All you have to do is take a few minutes time. If you want to study the golfers in each PGA event, that's up to you. Or you just kind of grab a list and just, I don't know, use the chicken poop bingo or whatever you want. Let the chicken crap all over whichever players you want to pick and go for it. But it's one of those things that literally takes 5 minutes of your day, and you can win ZIL. I think these contests are awesome.
Yeah, you can study the field for the PGA, or you can throw darts, or pick the guys with the coolest names, or the guys that dress the funniest, whatever you want to do. I mean, I think there are some hardcore golf fans that really study the course, the layout, the length, the distance, everything, which golfers are going to match up best with which course on which weekend, and they're really into it. And then there's other people who literally throw darts, and it is a bit of a crapshoot from week to week. So there haven't been a ton of repeat winners, but certainly, this contest goes back, started, I believe, the event before the Masters. So it's been going for, like I said, a couple months already. And it's been a lot of fun with the building the hype for the UFGA, with franchises selling in August. It's been a good way to sort of enjoy this PGA season by getting to know a lot of golfers too. If you're interested in a UFGA franchise, this is a good way to follow along the PGA and learn which golfers you might want to target in that eventual player draft.
And since we launched the Score Coin as well, we've got a lot of new Score Coin holders, or hodlers, if you want to call them that. So you should have, or will need, a ZilPay wallet to play these contests. It's pretty basic, but if you haven't had a chance to fool around or get accustomed to that wallet, this is a good way to do that as well, in my opinion.
It is, and some of the contests certainly are going to, I know UFGA is awarding ZIL. Some are awarding ZIL, some are going to award Scorecoin. If you pay an entry fee in Scorecoin, which we obviously will for the UFHL NHL playoff pool. I believe Alexi, who is sort of heading up soccer at the moment, or taking a bit of a lead on getting the Euro 2021 soccer league up and running anyway, just basically a fantasy draft and then a pool, but you're actually going to pick players and draft out. I told him you can keep it simple if you want, and because it's going to be spreadsheet run, and he's taken it upon himself to make it quite in depth, and it's going to be for your hardcore soccer fans or European football fans that are looking forward to Euro 2021. This might be the best Euro 2021 pool there is, and Alexi's doing a good job with some help from guys like Nelson Martins, who we know from Wise Guys Prospects on the hockey side. He's also a big soccer guy, and he speaks Portuguese too. So he's been helping out, bringing in a number of people from different countries around the world to generate hype for the soccer and for European football.
Never hurts to have people within the ecosystem that speak other languages, because some of these sports are not within, the main language is certainly not English. So let's talk about one of the new ones that Dean Millard has up and coming. I believe it starts tomorrow. Probably deadline will be passed by the time this podcast airs. But Dean, if you're lurking somewhere in the background, I know you're, there he is. You want to tell us about this exciting new, as I say, easy peasy contest that's running in the UFLB?
Yeah, the deadline will be 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So this podcast better be out before 7 p.m. Mountain Time, or else you guys are going to fire me. But we will be having a weekly contest with the UFLB. We want to be able to introduce people to, the gameplay we're going to have next year, opening a ZilPay wallet. There's a lot of fantasy fans that are still uneducated when it comes to the blockchain, and I'm still learning all the time as well. But it's going to be simple. Every Sunday morning, and it's up there already in the Telegram chat that we have for Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball. Each Sunday morning, we will put up a category, and it's basically you predict whoever is going to get the most blank in that week. So this week it's RBIs, all of Major League Baseball. All you got to do is predict who is going to get the most RBIs from Monday to Sunday in all of Major League Baseball. And in the future, we'll break it down to, most strikeouts from a starting pitcher in the AL East. And then it'll get a little bit more I guess more scientific for some people. You could still throw the darts. In the golf contest, I went with 3 Canadians one weekend. Didn't help, but it was still fun to do. It was kind of my theme. So there'll be a lot of different things that we'll do. Again, encourages people to get their ZilPay wallet open, get used to the ecosystem, and start banking some Zil. So we'll have more details on the exact payouts. We're just figuring that out. But all you have to do is you go to that Telegram chat, find out what the contest is on Sunday morning. You can either DM me or you can email me, and the email's on the screen there, dean@UFLB@UFFsports.com. And I've got some good picks already rolling in for this one. So, I think it's just great. I won some Zil in the Masters contest, so I absolutely love that. Great way to get, to used to making, transactions and receiving it and seeing how the wallet all works, and also just keeping baseball on the front of your mind, as gameplay won't start for us in the UFLB until next spring. So really excited and going to have a lot of fun with this one.
So, Dean, are you saying that this is something that's going to run all season long?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. We're already a month into the baseball season, so we missed a month out on this. So we'll try to run this as long as we can, and then see where it goes. We don't really have an end date on this one, but I would love for it to go the whole season, and then we start with we're going to be auctioning off players and teams and things like that as we go through in the playoffs and the World Series. So probably we'll end at the regular season, and then we look forward to gameplay next year.
Okay, well, I don't know about you, Fish, but I'm going to get in on this one. I left the UFGA golf one to my wife. She's participating in that on a weekly basis. I need to get my head back into baseball. I haven't really kept in touch. I've been more focused on the Gold Eyes here in Winnipeg, the last little bit. So I need to get back in touch with the major league. So this is one way it'll force me to, whether I throw darts or at least start to recognize some of the names playing in the big leagues these days. So, yeah. What about you, Fish? Looking at it?
I thought you were going to put me on the spot there and make us pick an RBI leader for this week. I was going to give Dean a hard time and say I'm taking blast from the past and get Albert Pujols from his Dodgers now to come out with a bang and lead the league in RBIs, MLB and RBIs this week. But I didn't give it any thoughts. So I'm obviously a Jays guy. I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and some of the Jays, but I need to freshen up on my baseball as well, to be honest. When I was a sports editor at the newspaper and I was on the desk doing the Agate stats pages, you had to filter through stats for every sport every night, and you were really on top of all sports at all times. Since I'm no longer doing that, I've been very hockey and actually mixed martial arts focused. Those are sort of my two sports I follow the closest on a daily basis. So I do have to brush up on my baseball, and this contest will be one way to definitely get to know some new names and really see who's making noise in the MLB and who will be the guys to target in the UFLB this time next year.
I'm going to do it. And here's my trick, and I hope people aren't listening. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want people not to listen. I don't even know why I'd say that. But what I'm trying to say is my idea was to watch the Telegram chat, because I don't know if you've seen it in the UFGA, but sometimes people say, here are my picks. So I'm going to kind of casually just kind of lurk and see if someone throws their picks in there, and then I'm just going to copy them. I'm going to be lazy.
You're like Bob Uecker in Major League, the movie, where he says something and his color guy says, "You can't say that on." He says, "Nobody's listening anyway," as they were doing the Cleveland Indian broadcast. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I want to make sure people DM me or email me the picks, though. Sometimes a lot of things get lost in those chats, so I can't guarantee that I'll be searching back the chat. So email or DM the picks is the most effective way. And there's the wrong camera there. I'll bring up the email address, Dean_UFLB at UFFsports.com, or if you're in the Telegram chat, just send me a DM. We don't want anybody's picks going missing because we didn't have time to scroll back in the Telegram chat, and everybody can get involved. Free contest and start banking some Zil.
Free contest, and if you miss it this week, of course, you'll have another chance next week and the weeks thereafter. So yeah, easy peasy, as I said. Great contest, lots of fun. Fish, thanks, Dean, for that. Fish, I think it's time to move on to our second annual UFHL NHL playoff pool picks. Larry being the pro, me being the rookie. Now we're going to give away some UFFS merchandise from the UFHL shop this time. And basically, I think we talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. But what's going to happen is if for anybody at the end, this is not every round, this is at the very end, beats the pro will be entered into the draw, and also anybody that is worse than the rookie. Heaven forbid if you're worse than the rookie, because my picks are just they're just coming out of left field, to be honest. Then you'll also be entered. So technically, I was thinking about this. People it could actually be both. They could be worse than me and better than you if you end up being worse than me, Larry. Do I have this mixed up in my head? But that's the way it appears to me.
No, that's absolutely true. If I tank and I'm at the bottom and you're sort of middle of the pack or near the top, there could be people that are ahead of you behind you and ahead of me for sure. So it'll be, or maybe you're right at the top, Darren. Who knows? This year's playoffs in both leagues are extremely hard to predict. So you could be first and I could be last, and everybody would be in between us. But you're right. For each the grouping of contestants or entrants that are behind you, all those names will go into one contest, and then the contestants or entrants that are finish ahead of the pro, that list of entrants will also go into contest for merch. So there'll be two winners most likely, and it'll be exciting to see. Obviously, they're going to get a t-shirt or a tank top with their logo of their choice from the UFFS merch store. So good way to get some more merch out on the streets and promote that side of it. But certainly a lot of fun for people to follow along. And I know we have a lot of entrants from within the UFHL putting in their playoff picks after the UFHL playoff draft wrapped up last night. Going into yesterday and throughout up to the playoff draft, there was a lot of not worry, but there's not very many entries, and we thought maybe it was because you needed to enter with 50 score coin. And again, some people aren't fully immersed with the ecosystem, but as soon as that playoff draft was over, the picks started rolling in, and Andrea Karanduk and Nathan Bender are overseeing this year's UFHL NHL playoff pool, and I know they're hard at work and busy already tallying up the picks, and hopefully get the spreadsheet out later today to show everybody's first round picks.
Absolutely. And yeah, to get more merch out on the streets, love to see the merch that's being rocked, out in various places in the US and around the world. I see it on Twitter. So thank you for everybody that is sharing their UFFS merch as they proudly display that wherever they are. And it's really exciting to see. So where do we start? Are we going to start with the NHL, I believe, right?
Yeah, we can start with the NHL, Darren. And certainly just to give everybody a heads up, this contest was, the deadline was this morning, Sunday morning or Sunday at noon Eastern. 50 score coin, 50 SCO was the entry fee, which score coin's been hovering close to $1. So $1 USD. So essentially $50 USD was the entry fee, and the payouts will be in score. First place, the way the payouts work, Darren, is 50% goes to the overall champion. So that's overall standings, combining your picks from the NHL and the UFHL. You got to be good at both leagues in this playoff pool. Get your predictions right for both leagues. So first place overall gets 50%. Second place overall gets 25%. Third place overall gets 15% of the total prize pool of score coin. And then the final 5% to the person who is first place in just the UFHL picks, and 5% to the person who's first place in just their NHL predictions. So if you're really good at the NHL and not good at the UFHL, you still can get 5%, but you're probably not going to get the 50% overall standing. So you want to be good at both leagues. But yeah, so 50, 25, and 15 for the overall standings, and then 5% payout of the total prize pool once it's calculated in Scorecoin, 5% to each of the league champions, the people who have the best NHL predictions and best UFHL predictions.
So some more score money to be made. So let's, and obviously I know that I am not as close to the NHL playoffs as you are, and certainly not to what is happening in the UFHL. So my picks are based on teams that I like. If I like the color of the logo, if I like maybe one or two players, that's kind of how I make my picks, with a little hint of knowledge perhaps and a lot of luck. So where should we start? Do you want to start in the North Division there, Fish, in the NHL? We can do that.
Sure, we're both in Canada, and we got a bit of a rivalry going there in the North Division, so let's start there.
Okay, well, I'm going to take in the first round, I'm going to take the Leafs. I do think this might be their year. I was a Leafs fan way back in elementary school, the first team I ever liked, and I still maybe have a little thing for the Leafs. So I'm going to say the Leafs in 6 in the North Division, and then I'll continue on with the other one in the North Division. Sad to say this. Oh, where is it? I think these guys just did not impress me, unfortunately, in the last of the season, and I don't know if there's any stopping Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. So I'm taking the Oilers in 6 over the Jets.
Going against the hometown team, Darren. I don't know if that's going to go over well in the household and at work, but seeing the Jets, you're right, though. I'll start with that series. I think Edmonton has had Winnipeg's number all year, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have been able to light up Connor Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck had a real strong start going into the playoffs in his last game, beating the Leafs. So, and the Jets could get healthy. They got guys like Nick Ehlers coming back, and so the Jets can certainly make a series of this. But I agree. I think based on regular season results and Edmonton being one of the hottest teams certainly in the second half of the season, I have the Oilers in 5. So one less game than you. You have Oilers in 6. I have Oilers in 5. And we're also agreeing over in the original 6 matchup. I have the Leafs in 4 over Montreal. And I like Montreal's team. I honestly do. But their goaltending is the big question mark. And so is Toronto's in that regard. You know, both goaltenders are coming off injuries leading into the playoffs. Frederik Andersen for Toronto, Carey Price for Montreal. But I really think Carey Price has been off for a while with a concussion of all things. He needs to stand on his head somehow and steal some games in this series. I think Toronto's just got too much firepower, and I honestly think if there's going to be a sweep in the first round, I think it's Toronto over Montreal. And Luc Grenier won't like to hear that when you hear how many Montreal Canadiens he picked in the UFHL playoff draft. But I have the Leafs sweeping Montreal in 4.
Yeah, I was thinking Luc Grenier the whole time you were talking the sweep there, actually. So, okay, well, and I'm keeping track of your picks as well, so I know what I'm up against here. We'll move on then to the West Division if you want, and I am taking the Colorado Avalanche in 7 games over St. Louis, and in the other one, I'm choosing Vegas in 5. No reason other than Vegas just always seems to have the magic. I think they're could do well again. The Avalanche, the Avs over St. Louis, I really have no idea why I picked them. Just had to pick a team, but I think that's going to go to 7.
Darren, we're agreeing over and over so far. The rookie and the pro are on the same page for the West Division as well. Actually, identical picks for Colorado over St. Louis in 7. I think. For me, I think the Avs, as long as Nathan McKinnon is healthy, I think they get the edge there. But St. Louis has that championship experience, and they're going to be a tough out. I do think Colorado is a team to beat in this year's NHL playoffs overall. So I think that'll be one of their toughest tests. And if they get past St. Louis, they'll be rolling. But I do like the Avs in 7 in a real long, hard-fought series there. And Vegas, I took Vegas in 7 over Minnesota. And Minnesota's been a sexy pick, Darren, because based on regular season head-to-head, Minnesota has had Vegas's number, oddly. So Minnesota's had a lot of success against Vegas, but I think Vegas has that extra gear. I think they can shift this into playoff mode and take their game to another level that Minnesota won't be able to match. So I have Vegas in 7. I think that West Division, both series are going to be close, and I think they're both going to go the distance. Colorado and Vegas both coming out in 7 games and setting up a real barn burner there between Colorado and Vegas in the second round in that West Division final.
Okay, so far we agree on the teams, just not on the number of games. So we'll move over to the East Division now. I am going to take the New York Islanders over Pittsburgh in 7 games, and I just can't give up on my Boston Bruins. And I, even though there's a game in the books already, and I know what happened, but I'm going to take Boston in 6.
We have our first pick that's different, Darren, and it's actually not the Boston series. I also have Boston in 6. Even though they lost game 1 in overtime, I think the Bruins bringing in Taylor Hall was such a shot in the arm for Boston. You know, I was iffy on Boston. They were playing good, but when they got Taylor Hall at the trade deadline and to see him sort of rejuvenated and you know, I know how driven Taylor Hall is. He won 2 Memorial Cups. He hasn't had really any playoff success in the NHL. This means a lot to him, and I think he's going to be a big boost for Boston, and I have Boston prevailing in 6 games. In the other series, the first time that we're going in opposite directions is I'm taking Pittsburgh in 6. Pittsburgh in 6 over the Islanders. And the reason there, I just think the Islanders have had Pittsburgh's number in recent playoffs matchups. Barry Trotz is obviously a master coach. He's outdueled and been able to shut down and contain Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin in previous years. But I think Pittsburgh bringing in Jeff Carter and you know, really getting some new energy in the front office with Ron Hextall and Brian Burke. I just think this could be Pittsburgh's year to go on one more run. And I know I've been picking them the last couple of years, and they've lost out in the first round, including against the Islanders, the one year in a sweep, no less. I think that disdain for the Islanders, that rivalry is real. The fact that the Islanders swept Pittsburgh in recent years, I think Pittsburgh gets their revenge this year, and I got Penguins in 6 over the Islanders.
Okay, so our first different one, Central Division, I'm taking Carolina over Nashville for no reason at all in 6 games. And yeah, I don't know why I'm in the other one. I'm choosing Florida over Tampa Bay, but I just feel that Florida's going to take it in 7. I think it's going to be a close series, and I think Tampa Bay is going down.
I think both these series are going to be very close, very hard fought. I took Carolina in 7, but I'll be honest, Darren, if I was going to pick an upset out of one of these other series, or I guess an upset in general that would be considered an upset, I like Nashville. I think Nashville could win that series, but I ended up going with Carolina in 7, but I think Nashville's going to put a real scare into Carolina, and they're going to open some eyes that Nashville's still a potential contender with the roster. They have a lot to prove, and they've been hot down the stretch. So Nashville's going to give Carolina a good scare, but Rod Brind'Amour and the Hurricanes are going to prevail in Game 7. And then in the other series, we're going the opposite. I'm taking Tampa Bay in 6. I have a hard time betting against the defending champions. They're getting back Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov for Game 1 for the series opener. So the fact they're going to have their 2 big guns back. I know Victor Hedman's hurt, but I see Andrei Vasilevsky in goal. Sergei Bobrovsky hasn't had the best playoff track record. He'll try to make a better name for himself with Florida, but the battle of the Russian goaltenders, I favor Andrei Vasilevsky, and I just think, although the rosters are fairly similar, I think that loss of Aaron Ekblad for Florida, you can't replace an Aaron Ekblad, and I think that's going to sort of be the turning point. Even though guys like Sam Bennett and some of the guys they brought in have been hot, I really do think Tampa's depth up front is going to outgun Florida, but that's going to be one of the best series to watch because there's some bad blood between Florida and Tampa going into the playoffs. I like Tampa in 6, but that's going to be a heck of a series.
Okay, well, we'll see if people are going to agree with me or be worse than me or beat the pro and be better than the pro. So I guess all we need to do now is pick the 2 finalists that will be playing for the Stanley Cup and then announce our Stanley Cup champion. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, I am going to take the Leafs against Boston in the Stanley Cup finals. And I think, I already said this at the beginning, I think this is the Leafs' year. I don't know. We don't know how bad the North Division is yet. We're going to find out. I'm calling the Leafs.
That would be an awesome final, Darren. And it's so cool the way the NHL's reseeding the 4 division winners. Because normally Toronto and Boston are in the same division. They're either going to face each other in the first round or the second round. Here we have them in the final, the final round, the fourth round, and another original six matchup, Boston, Toronto. The rivalry, that would be one of the most watched Stanley Cup finals in a long time, certainly in Canada, with the Leafs trying to break the curse of 1967 against the big bad Bruins, their arch rival. But that's a really interesting prediction, and it would be cool to see kind of those two cool but strange to see two Eastern Conference, normally division rival guys clashing for the Stanley Cup. Just the COVID circumstance there. But for me, I have Tampa Bay. Again, I think if we're going to see a repeat champion, we haven't seen one in a long time. Obviously back in the day, Detroit, Colorado, New Jersey, there were some contenders to repeat, but there haven't been really a repeat champion in recent years. And I think Tampa Bay is a team that could do it. If there's a team that's going to stop Tampa Bay, I honestly believe it's Colorado. And like I said, if Colorado can get by St. Louis and Vegas in those first two series, that's going to be some hard miles, some tough matchups. But if they get out of there, I think it's going to be hard to stop Colorado and Nathan MacKinnon. So I have Colorado over Tampa Bay, knocking off the defending Stanley Cup champions. Colorado Avalanche are winning the Stanley Cup in 2021.
Interesting pick. As you say, I really hope it's the Leafs versus Boston, because I would probably watch every second of that matchup. I don't know if I'd be in when the weather's nice as much on the Avs against Tampa Bay, but hey, you never know. It just depends. So in the essence of time, I guess that's the NHL Stanley Cup. Now we have to do the UFHL, and we probably have to be a little bit speedier on these. So I will start if you want, and I'm going to start in the Allen conference in the Gretzky division. So we have the Red Army versus the Stallions. I'm going to take the Red Army based on, what they've done all year. I know things change with the playoff draft, of course, and I'm pretty clueless on who did what. I tuned in, but I'm not sure. And Grizzlies are going to defeat the Battlehawks, I believe.
And I'll echo those sentiments. I think the top two teams in the Gretzky division advance quite handily. I think those are going to be fairly lopsided results. I do think the Grizzlies obviously had the most players going into the playoff draft, with 19 out of 20 slots already spoken for from their regular season roster. So they were looking like a powerhouse. I got the Grizzlies over the Battlehawks, and I also believe that Red Army will be out to, although they finished second place and they held on to second place in the regular season standings, I think Red Army is upset about losing the Founders Trophy, and they'd love a shot at the Klein Cup. And I do think Red Army is going to have their way with the Stallions.
Okay, so we agree there. I'm going to move on to the Lemieux division. I am taking the Ice Vikings over the Blades of Steel, and I'm taking the Yetis over the Stingrays.
We have our first difference in the UFHL, Darren. I've been sort of touting this upset all week, so I can't not take it. But I'm going to take Blades of Steel over the Founders Trophy regular season champion Ice Vikings. I have the regular season champs out in the first round. And the reason for that, Darren, is the Ice Vikings actually had the least amount of players from the regular season roster advance to the playoffs. So and Blades of Steel were loaded with guys like Austin Matthews. So I like the upset there. I'm taking Blades of Steel, and I agree with you on the Yetis over the Stingrays. I think Connor McDavid, if he lights up the Jets, that's going to bode well for the Yetis. So I have the Yetis over the Stingrays.
Okay, and I just the Ice Vikings, I just had to give it to them based on winning the Founders Cup. I watched them on the live draft show, and I just think that they probably did well enough in the draft, even though I didn't follow every player drafted, that can probably take that first round anyway. So you're going to move over to the Legends Conference now, and the Or division. I am choosing the Titans over Strong Island, and I will take the Brutes over Rock Republic.
This division, I touted the Lemieux division as the marquee matchups. Certainly, I was high on the Stingrays and the Yetis matchup. After the playoff draft results, I'm now shifting the focus to the Or division. This is the division to watch in the first round of the playoffs. Both these matchups are almost a coin flip for me. They're very, very close. I went with the Titans as well over Strong Island, but I think Terry Weber made some good picks in the playoff draft, and I think Strong Island had a lot of studs advance to the playoffs. They didn't lose too much other than Rasmus Dahlin. So I think Strong Island's going to put a scare into the Titans, but I have Jacob Cambridge and the Titans coming out of that first round matchup in the Ore division. And I have Rock Republic over the Brutes. And again, I think Sidney Crosby, David Krejci, a lot of the guys that the Brutes have are going to be big playoff performers. I actually really like the Brutes performance in the playoff draft. One of the only teams or franchises I liked better in the playoff draft was Rock Republic. Getting Victor Hedman and having some Tampa guys and having a good goaltending tandem with Fleury and Binnington. I really think this matchup is going to be a coin flip for me, but the coin came up with Rock Republic. So I have Titans and Rock Republic advancing in the Ore division.
Okay, so another difference of opinion between the pro and the rookie. On to the Howe division, the Outlaws. I'm choosing the Outlaws over the West Coast Express, and I just got to stay true to the UFFS founders, I guess, and the one UFFS founders team from way back when we first launched this thing in January 2020. I'm sticking with the Gators over the Royals.
So we'll go opposites in the Howe division. I got West Coast Express pulling the upset over the Outlaws. They have Brad Marchand, your boy, on West Coast Express. So I just think the West Coast Express match up well against the Outlaws in their head-to-head. Obviously, it's still total points within the head-to-head matchup, but I like the Outlaws roster going into the West Coast Express roster going into the playoffs, except for the fact that, like we talked about Florida Panthers earlier, the West Coast Express lost Aaron Ekblad, and if it wasn't for Aaron Ekblad getting if they didn't lose Aaron Ekblad, I really think West Coast Express could have went on a run in these Klein Cup playoffs. But I have West Coast Express getting out of the first round with an upset over the Outlaws. And in the other matchup between the Founders franchise, the Gators against the Royals, Tieran Karanduk and Arnie Entz and Brent Baldwin, I'm actually taking the Royals there. And part of the reason, Darren, is unfortunately the Gators GM, Matt Gunn, was going to try and do the draft from his phone and use the app and do it from the beach because he lives here in Kelowna, and we had a first plus 30 day of the year yesterday. And so him and his kids went to the beach and thought, I'll let the kids play and I'll do my draft from my phone. And unfortunately, technology failed him. He couldn't get the draft room to work, so it was auto picking, and he didn't get a second goalie. And there were some issues there with technology. So I do think the Royals are stronger on paper coming out of the playoff draft, but that's a fun matchup because you got Alex Ovechkin against Nate McKinnon, and I'm going to go with Alex Ovechkin and the Royals prevailing over the Gators.
Okay. No, see, you're more in depth and you have more knowledge than I do. And that's why I say I pick more with my heart, and maybe sometimes it's colors and players I like. But yeah, I did go against the Brad Marchand thing, and I'm going to probably spank myself for that later because Brad Marchand, I'm all about Brad Marchand. Everybody knows that. And I'm going to get nasty text for that probably. But other than that, let's move on. I'm going to now, this is where I got killed last year, is the bonus points. I took some teams early on or franchises that got kicked out early, and I don't know if it's going to happen this time. But in the, I guess in the Allen Conference, I'm choosing the Ice Vikings, and in the Legends Conference, I think the Titans are going to come out. So Ice Vikings against the Titans, and then I think the Ice Vikings are going to win it.
They're going to sweep both the Founders Trophy and the Klein Cup. That would be an incredible season for the Outlaws if they can pull off the double championship, regular season and playoffs. I actually, of course, have the Ice Vikings getting upset in the first round, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform in the playoffs. The Titans, I do feel, are a threat to come out of that Ore division. The way I actually have the Final Four, Darren, is I think Rock Republic are going to upset the Titans in the second round in the Ore division. And then I have Rock Republic over Blades of Steel from the Lemieux division in the Final Four. And then on the other side, I have the Grizzlies in the Gretzky division. I have them over the Royals from the Howe division. So my final two end up being the Grizzlies against Rock Republic. And I debated long and hard on this. I like both franchises. I like the Grizzlies going into the playoff draft. I like Rock Republic coming out of the playoff draft. And ultimately, I ended up going with Rock Republic. And I like Victor Hedman. He's the reigning Conn Smythe playoff MVP from last season. I think Tampa's going deep again. I really like. I based that sort of on my NHL predictions, where I had Colorado and Tampa in the final. And on the NHL side, I had Colorado over Edmonton in the Final Four and Tampa Bay over Pittsburgh. So I sort of, when I looked at the UFHL, I sort of looked at who's strong with Colorado, Edmonton, Tampa, and Pittsburgh players. And I came out at the end, I ended up going with Rock Republic over the Grizzlies. So I have the Klein Cup heading to Newfoundland and to Rock Republic and Kyle Roberts in 2021?
I predict they have more bottles of champagne showing up at their door in Newfoundland, and that's why I chose the Ice Vikings, because I want to watch another one of those live action shake the bubbly videos. So interesting. We do have some differences. This is going to be fun. I'm sure we'll be able to see the pro and the rookies picks in the Google Sheets along with everybody else that entered this. I hope a lot of people did, because the second annual playoff draft, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This is, basically all the time we have for podcast number 23, the official UFFS podcast. Sometimes there's just too many F's and too many S's to come out of this mouth on a Sunday. I want to thank Dean Millard and Podcast Alley Productions. And for anybody that needs any production work and wants to join our UFSN network, they are certainly, we're always looking for opportunity and good people to join us here. If they have any podcast talent at all, or just want to discuss opportunities and ideas, get a hold of us here at www.uffs.com or go to our website. And I want to thank the Punch Boxing. Great to have a riff on the show. Great to meet the two finest boxers in India, Sagar, and we also had Haresh Gill as well. So great chat with those guys. Next time we'll do it with better technology. This is it. Saying see you later from Fish and Bates on the official UFFS podcast.
This has been the UFFS Podcast with Darren Bates and Larry Fisher. Get in the game where you own the game at www.uffsports.com.